NBA Live has had a rocky decade from cancellations to releasing games that are probably some of the worst to ever be made under the NBA Live banner. They eventually somewhat got things back on track with NBA Live 19. I think a lot of people said, I think we're all sports gamers here. We hate hearing that phrase, but this was the phrase after NBA Live 19. It was a step in the right direction, and it honestly was. IGN gave it a 7.9 out of 10, saying that it was a pleasant game to play, which I guess is a lot better than the previous games. They also went on to state the core basketball game and its various modes offer plenty of chances to have a fun basketball experience. NBA Live 19 is great at simulating basketball and has fun modes to shake things up, but its personality comes up a bit short. And that's probably somewhat true, and honestly that's probably a take that I would agree with. Another review by EGM paints a picture of a game series that was trying to tackle the same market I think as 2K, and that's sort of the social street ball market of basketball games now that 2K has created. I remember really enjoying NBA Live's version of Park, if you will. Unlike 2K, which I think their version of Park or the neighborhood or the city or whatever name it's going by recently now, it's just filled with microtransactions. You have to wait a long time to even play a game on the courts. If you're not a certain overall at some point in the game, people just aren't going to play with you. So you're always pressured into spending more. And I think that's something that I just don't think EA with NBA Live will ever be able to replicate. Granted, the streets for NBA Live, it did feel like something that actually respected your time, at least more than 2K does. But I think the market has pretty much spoken pretty clearly here. They just aren't interested in EA's version of this. They want 2K's version. They want the neighborhood. They want the city. The market for Streetball, whatever you want to call it, they want a second life city to explore and hang out in. Rather than outfitting your players with clothes that were earned via a simple, menu, kids today would rather go to virtual store in a virtual city to buy clothes for their virtual player. I recently watched a video from a popular 2K YouTuber who, on no uncertain terms, stated what he wants 2K to do. What he thinks the next thing 2K needs to do. They need to put all their dev time into this. And what is this, you might ask? He wants 2K to build multiple sort of Grand Theft Auto sized cities within NBA 2K. His other genius idea is to have us buy virtual cars that we have to drive to get to our MyCareer games. It's, to me, and the thing that was sort of insane to me, no one really pushed back on it. Go in the comments, people are like, this is great, this is what 2K needs. I'm not interested in this. It's very clear to me what I want and what fans of 2K want are two completely different things. It's clear to me also from that is if EA is ever going to regain its footing in the basketball gaming market, they're going to have to do it another way. It's clear a very large portion of the 2K user base, they don't even touch the NBA portion of the game. To me, that's an opportunity, I think, for EA to at least get their foot back in the door. So how are they going to do that? This will honestly probably upset a good portion of the 2K market. If you remember, I did a video on this recently, but we'll get to it. You're going to have to, I think in my opinion, not even do a street version mode in your game, I think is what EA is actually going to have to do. They will never be able to win those users over. They can add a city if they want to walk around in. It's always to them, to these players, it's never going to be as good as 2K, so why play it? EA wanted to get their foot back in the market with that to eventually start charging people for clothes and all the other stuff. They saw there's going to be millions of dollars to make, but it's clear as day that's just not going to happen with EA, so they're going to have to try something else. So what's that? If you know my channel, subscribe please. I'm a franchise player. And I spoke about this just a little bit earlier, my most popular video and my most disliked video. I have to say, you guys who disliked it, you still made me a decent chunk of change off that video. Is me sort of just stating that something that I really felt in my heart. And I truly do believe that the NBA 2K franchise, my NBA experience, has simply just grown stale. Sailor than yesterday's news. I stand by everything I said in that video. My NBA as a franchise experience just isn't fun anymore. The actual struggle of building a team from just a sort of doormat to a playoff contender to a championship contender, that just isn't present in NBA 2K anymore. I feel this is something EA could actually capitalize on and really build up in NBA Live. I said for years that, once again, I hate to go over points I made in that video, but the progression of your players in franchise mode is something that I think is one of, if not the most important thing, it's one of the most important things for a franchise mode, in my opinion. And currently for NBA fans, that's not really represented in NBA 2K. It should be in NBA Live if they came back. This should be their focus, is franchise mode, is 5-on-5 basketball. And getting back to progression, players do progress in NBA 2K. I understand they do, but it's sort of just at random. You go to the off-season menu, you see progression, and numbers are, there's pluses or there's minuses. You're not really sure why there's pluses or minuses. It's just sort of there. If a player has an 85 potential, that's it. Well, that's it. Once they hit 85, they're going to be that. I know there are sort of ways to raise their potential with the off-season training, but again, it's just the fact that there's even a cap is kind of annoying. It shows that they haven't really figured out a really meaningful way to represent player progression. Finding those diamonds in the rough just isn't something you can do in NBA 2K My NBA. That's something that should be possible with NBA Live comes back. I should be able to draft a player that's raw, that's sort of like a Giannis, and able to build him up. And again, it's not just progression where my issues stem with NBA 2K's My NBA. I hate to sound like a broken record on this channel. Teams constantly make trades that just don't make sense. They just don't improve their team. It feels like, it's really, if we're being honest, it feels like the trades are made just to make them, just to give the appearance that there's movement in the league. Teams seemingly can't manage their cap by, once you get 2-3 years into your My NBA, you'll have dozens of 85 overall players just sitting at home waiting to get signed, but they can't because almost every team is maxed out with their cap. And if players do sign somewhere, it's usually a team that really doesn't make a lot of sense roster fit, from a roster fit perspective and just a locational standpoint. Once again, this is sort of a common complaint, a common thing that a lot of us My NBA guys have said. You'll see LeBron sign in Utah or Detroit. These are just the things that ruin the immersion of the mode, and these are all things 2K is really just not shown an interest in fixing in the mode. So you're probably asking yourself, my big idea for NBA Live is just to look at what 2K refuses to fix in their franchise mode and just commit to basically fixing all the things that we have complaints about in My NBA and just doing it in NBA Live. That's my big idea. I think that could be something they can do to sort of, I think, craft out, at least carve out a market for themselves in the basketball space. I'm not just going to stop with franchise mode. We're going to talk MyCareer.
Blew it. Son, we cannot have you out in the streets wearing these sneakers. People will know where they came from.
Yeah, because if you're not down for the culture, down for the culture, down for the culture, down for the culture, we can't.
That's got to be racist. There's no way.
MyCareer sucks. Can we just sort of admit that now? It truly is a really awful experience to play through. I'd rather stick ice picks in my urethra than play MyCareer. And while we're bashing MyCareer, can we point this mode feels like it's, I don't want to say it's written by racists. I doubt anyone who wrote this game voted for old Magadon. But this does feel like people who would happily gentrify a neighborhood and make the residents move out so they can build slam poetry coffee shops and vegan bread bakeries. I'm not personally a fan of the city. I'm not a fan of the concept. I'm not a fan of having to walk around and do quests. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And let me get to the story. In NBA 2K23, the driving force of the storyline is gaining the respect of the city after you were drafted ahead of Shep Owens, who is apparently can't miss prospect. Everyone's like, this guy is the best player in the draft. The entire city hates you for being drafted instead of Shep Owens. People are rioting in the streets, burning down targets, storming the cap. Well, none of that happens, but the fans of whichever team you pick, because you actually don't get to go through the pre-draft experience in this career mode anymore. You just pick whatever team that you want to go on. Whichever team you pick, the fan base hates you for it. Did I mention you and Shep Owens were drafted 18th and 19th overall in the draft? Do you know who the 18th and 19th picks of the 2022 NBA drafts were? Neither did I until I went on Wikipedia. Pick 18 was Dalen Terry by the Chicago Bulls. Pick 19 was Jack LaRivia. LaRivia? I hope that's how I'm pronouncing your name. Sorry, guy. By the Minnesota Timberwolves. I can promise you right now, not a single Bulls fan was outraged or upset or angry that they passed on Jake LaRivia. Nobody knew who Jake LaRivia was before he was drafted. Hell, you probably don't even know who Jake LaRivia is. I could be making up Jake LaRivia. Jake LaRivia could be a figment of my imagination. I just made him up for this video just to mess with you. It's entirely possible. The point is, the storyline really doesn't make any sense. The premise makes no sense. Once you start playing the game, it really just falls apart, because once you buy enough VC to get to an 85 overall, and you start unlocking your badges, equipping badges, you're already an MVP level player. You know, you can easily put up 65 points, 10 rebounds, 15 assists, triple dubs, all this other good stuff. You're making the team a winner. You're winning every game. You're amazing. You're great. Yet in the storyline, the GM's trying to trade you, and everyone's like, yeah, they should have took Shep Owens. You have a girlfriend that looks 45. You have to do TikTok dances. You have to go skateboarding. You have to do rap battles. You can design. What is this? I mean, honestly, what is this? If that sounds interesting, you cool, man. But to me, it's lame. I have no interest in that. Just give me a somewhat basic MyCareer thing. Similar to 2K15, very basic. Hell, even 2K14. If you're NBA Live, just look at 2K14's career mode, look at 2K15 and go, okay, we're going to do that. So, to me, that's what NBA Live's revamped career mode would be. Just the complete opposite of whatever MyCareer has turned into. A once great mode. I think the mode, in my opinion, I think everyone agree, MyCareer is the thing that just really set 2K apart from NBA Live. NBA Live had nothing like it. Nothing like it. And here we are sitting here now, and it's clear that 2K doesn't even value an actual career mode experience anymore. I think this is somewhere where NBA Live, EA, could actually sort of get back on track and actually build some goodwill. I think there's a lot of people who are dying for an NBA career mode to actually sort of mean something again, to actually be fun, to actually be engaging, to actually be interesting, for the focus to actually be on MyCareer, on your career, instead of this weird storyline stuff that just doesn't make any sense. And also, for it to really, and let's be frank, the focus for MyCareer now is really just a vehicle for you to level up your player so you can play on Park. My vision of NBA Live, there is no Park. Your player that you make in NBA Live's version of career would simply just stay in that mode. I know some people don't like that idea. I know some people want to take my players and play against each other. I just don't think that if you want to do it in 2K. Do it in 2K. But for NBA Live, if they were to come back, you have to be an alternative, and this is a way to be an alternative. Some people aren't going to like it. That's fine. You know, will they sell as many copies as NBA 2K? No, but I think they would sell enough if the gameplay was solid and the modes were actually interesting and engaging. So, with NBA Live doing these things and improving gameplay, I know someone's going to go, why didn't you mention course gameplay has to be better. I know everyone knows gameplay has to be better. We're all aware of that. Would it bring back the glory days of NBA Live 05 and 06? Would it overtake 2K? Would Ronnie 2K finally get in trouble for bringing those underage-ish looking girls into his bedroom to show off sneakers? Well, probably not. I'm not sure about that last one, but in terms of reestablishing NBA Live as, I think, a viable option, I think this would be probably the best way forward. NBA Live tried going toe-to-toe on 2K's turf when it came to the My Player modes. I think 2K is simply too far ahead on those modes. I think they've made those investments in well over a decade. I think this is just something EA should simply leave to 2K. Retreat. Wait, throw up the white flag, say, hey, you know what? You guys got it. The city, the Pro-Am stuff, that's your domain. That's yours. You guys have it. But once again, like I've said throughout this video, I don't see why NBA Live can't carve out its own lane in the sports game market. As the best NBA game, NBA Live should focus on being the game where you can get the best NBA experience. I don't think you get that with 2K anymore. Let 2K have the goofy storylines and the goofy clothes and the goofy characters. I just want to play with NBA players. And I no longer feel like 2K is really dedicated to that. I don't think they dedicate themselves to giving us a great NBA game. And I would like us to at least get a game that is at least dead set on giving us that. Maybe NBA Live is the best shot we can get at getting that game. I know some people are going to feel like this video was me sort of just bashing 2K, and you know what? You're right. It was. Why? I know what 2K is serving up. We've had it for about a decade now. I kind of just don't want it anymore. I want out of a basketball game, what I want out of a basketball game is not something I feel like 2K is really willing to give me anymore. I simply just want the opposite of what 2K is selling. I think a lot of us want just give me the alternative. All I'm asking for, I think, is an alternative, and I think if NBA Live were to come back, they would just need to be an alternative to 2K. Don't copy everything 2K does. Just because 2K has a, really intricate My Player PvP type mode, that doesn't mean you need one. That's all I'm saying. Just because 2K has a really goofy storylines and all these weird characters that are really annoying and these quests that take you out of just playing basketball, don't feel the need you need to have that. Just because, NBA 2K, just because they have the city, well, it's like, geez, well, we can't build a city in our game. I mean, okay, then don't. That's fine if you don't. Just give us an alternative. Just give us something, please. I am tired of NBA 2K being the only basketball game on the market at this point. I just want something different. And I think a lot of you want something different at the very least, just different. Is different always better? No, but I would at least like a chance to try it again. So, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit like, be sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.